doesn't make sense because you're discussing plasticity and impairment suggests function. It'd be better to say reflecting impaired synaptic plasticity. Thank you for your comments. The wording has been amended to reflecting... Oh no, I meant reflecting / suggesting, as in you pick one of these. Not like use this word, this combo word in your paper. That's not what I want. The wording should just be amended to pick one of these. I'm going to give you a check, but with a question mark, because I think you didn't do it right. At the overall level, CL218872. Yeah, here, this is a slam dunk. You don't have to say at the overall level, just say overall, and we all know what you mean. You did that. Checks for you, Bucky. This finding not only directly validates the potential therapeutic value, while the enhanced markers of synaptic plasticity, reduction in inflammation, and improvement in synaptic structure signal the translational relevance of this approach, it is an overstatement to say it directly validates therapeutic value, and this should be rephrased. Yeah, you know, if you took therapeutic value out and you just made it say potential research value, I think that, like, that softens it. You know, all the enhanced markers of plasticity, reduction in inflammation, and improvement in synaptic strength signal the potential research value of this approach. Yeah, no, that makes sense, because we're not talking about translation. We're just talking about specific rodent models. That's fine. I think that's a good way to soften that. Cut the phrasing. Where is this? This is the same line, slightly after, but also establishes a crucial functional correlation between improved neurological deficit scores and subsequent cellular / molecular mechanistic investigations. It's not clear what the sentence is arguing, as no correlational analyses were performed between neurological deficit score and marker expression or morphology, and the relevance of pro-inflammatory markers to ischemic industry have already been previously established. The point in question has been removed. Well, I always feel bad when I make a suggestion and the author's like, we'll just take it out. And, you know, sometimes that happens. I didn't think this sentence was contributing anything. I mean, establishes a crucial functional correlation, which was not done, between neurological deficit scores and cellular / motor mechanistic investigations. I don't know what this means. And you're not the first to establish this. So yes, I think if you took that out, that's a win. So good job. These findings demonstrate that CL218872's comprehensive hippocampal protection through maintaining cellular homeostasis. Please reword this to, these findings demonstrate comprehensive homeopathic protection is through maintaining homeostasis. Sorry, my brain's not processing this, but I'm pretty sure the sentence that I wrote is better compared to these findings demonstrate the CL2's comprehensive hippocampal protection through maintaining cellular homeostasis versus these findings demonstrate CL21's comprehensive hippocampal protection is through maintaining cellular homeostasis. Yeah, no, it's a minor reword, but I think it's better. We'll say yes. Okay. Yeah, this bit. These lines, which I don't have the original paper for, these were all very redundant. Thank the reviewer for the comments. There were indeed multiple similar conclusions in this section. We have now made necessary deletions. Good, I like that. Thank you for deleting them. Exerting anti-inflammatory effects should be exerts anti-inflammatory effects. Agree. Significant modulatory effect change to significant effect. Because what is a modulatory effect? You know, that could be anything. If you're going to put in more words, they should be descriptive, and if you're not going to put in more words, then make them concise. And you've made them concise on my behest, so thank you. I like that. Shows an upregulating trend, which we can just have say was upregulated. I hope you didn't put significant in quotes, because I did. I thought you would take that out in the process, but maybe you kept it in. Who's to tell? I'm going to say that's a win for now. Then I have to read the full thing. The overall region of neural inhibition, EI balance by Oh, overall regulation. Yeah, no, this doesn't make clear anything. The overall regulation of neural network EI balance by this. Well, how? You're not talking about what direction it's being pushed. So if you changed it to say the shift toward inhibition. Oh, this is a mistake on my end. The shift toward inhibition produced by this and this. The regulatory role in neural networks has been explored and clarified as an inhibitory effect. Okay, good. So that's what I want. Line 23. Although the citation 55 discuss... Oh, this is the one with the bad citation that made no sense and would have to be changed. It has currently been changed, but I haven't looked at it yet. But I will look at it after this. Regarding synaptic structure and functional restoration, this study didn't do anything about functional restoration. This didn't look at functions of hippocampal neurons. This is reaching too much into what the actual study does, and I don't think should be included. We've changed the term functional recovery to structural recovery. That's more along the lines of what you did. You can't oversell it, because, you know, you gave the mice a stroke and then you did histology. All you can do is look at morphology at that point. You can't confirm function. You know, because you'd need a new model for that. A clear promotive effect I didn't think meant anything, like promotes what? In this case, I think you should change it to, like a clear promotive, protective neuroplastic effect, which they did. Good job-oo. Good job-oo. In an ICH model, yeah, you can take that out because you've already defined it. Good job. Oops, take that out. Welcome to the world of science. It's a lot of tedium. Line booba-dooba-dooba, alongside their therapeutic benefits. Yeah, that was another thing. They talked a lot about the therapeutic negatives of benzodiazepines because I wanted them to bring up some of the negative literature suggesting why benzodiazepines are not effective, but this compound might be, and they spent like an entire page saying how benzos are bad without distinguishing themselves at all. And I thought, okay, well, you don't even mention any of the hypothetical benefits. You're just talking about why these drugs are bad, and that's not a very good way to lead in. The therapeutic effects of benefit are these ba-ba-da and da-ba-da. Sure, I guess so. I mean, I would also consider saying shifting the balance of excitatory to inhibitory transmission away from overexcitation and neurotoxicity and excitotoxicity, but I haven't read the paper yet, so maybe they do that. Here, where's music? Do kids like music? What about the Sims music? Does that work? I'd like some Sims music. I don't know where it went, though. It was here. Oh, here it is. Yeah. Wait, why is there no sound? Hang on. Oh, there it goes. It's just quiet. Sorry, I'm running on empty drug fumes. In the discussion, the word synaptophysins capitalized throughout. Easy mistake, thank you for fixing it. Discussion. While the authors discuss bidirectional modulation of GABAergic transmission via positive allosteric modulation at alpha-1 containing and negative modulation at alpha-5 containing receptors, as mentioned in the manuscript, these receptor subtypes contain different populations of GABA-A receptors and generally mediate phasic via tonic inhibition. It would be worthwhile to touch upon these mechanistic differences in the discussion. I.e. comparing MRK16 to an alpha-5 selective PAM to bidirectionally modulate the same populations. It would be an interesting follow-up in future work. For this, I realize it would require more work, and I'm not trying to be too mean, so it might just be worth a future falling off point. Okay, good. So they got the message, which was, we propose bidirectional regulation as a novel strategy for future research. That's what I want to see. Remove GABA B because you stopped talking about that. We've removed it. That's what I want. Good boy. Oops. And reviewer 2 had nothing to say, whereas I had everything to say. Meticulous review and invaluable guidance. Thank you. Okay, now we have to read the paper and hope it doesn't have problems. Because I don't want to do them again. But at least I feel like they've addressed them. I just hope they haven't... excuse me. Burpee. I hope they haven't introduced more. Ambien always makes me want to hiccup. It's cursed. Hiccup aggressively. Sorry. Give me a second, I'll be fine. Welcome to the scientific method. It is dry. And sometimes your stomach kind of rebels against you because you drank so many Cheez-Its. I don't know what your message... sorry. I don't know what your message was, Lexicog, but let's unhide it. Oh, forehead. No, let's hide that back. Okay, so this we can get rid of. Who am I talking to? Chen? generally anti-inflammatory. Or preserves. Sorry, I can't type. I'm zooted. Well, the alpha 5 preferring GABA and MRQ16 generally enhances suggesting novel treatment approaches. That's not how you spell hemorrhage, unless you're British and also have been drinking. Now the question is, do I recommend it for publication or do I have another pity? What's wrong with this paper? Please fix these things. I guess we'll find out. I don't want to be too mean if the writing is not super straightforward, but it might be kind of problematic to the point where it impacts your ability to read it. But let's read together. Intracerebral hemorrhage, ICH, is a devastating condition characterized by rapid onset, high rates of disability and mortality, and prolonged recovery. Dysregulated gamma-aminobutyric acid type A receptor, GABA AAAR. Technically, one of these should be subscript, but at this point, that's for the journal to tell them in terms of formatting. Signaling contribute to ICH-induced neurotoxicity, presenting a promising therapeutic target. This is, let's make it green. Let's make that green. I think that's great. I don't think there's anything wrong with this. I mean, I'm on 2 Ambiens at the moment, so I don't really know anything, and if I tilt my head forward, I worry I might fall out of a window. But I still have a PhD, so I am qualified. Objective: to assess the neurorestorative effects of the GABA A receptor alpha 1 partial positive allosteric modulator PAM CL218872 and the alpha 5 selective negative allosteric modulator NAM MRK16 on synaptic plasticity and neural repair following ICH. Okay, another perfectly functional sentence. This one's yellow. Truthfully, I think it should be green. I see nothing really questionable about that. Methods. An ICH mouse was constructed using collagenase 4, and ICH mice were administered the GABA modulators 218872 or MRK16. Differences in inflammation and neurological deficit score were compared between different groups of mice. I feel like something's happening on this side of the screen, and it shouldn't be. But whatever. Morphologic and functional changes in mouse neuronal cells were next determined by Nissel and Golgi-Cox staining. Synaptic structural changes in ICH mice were visualized by transmission electron microscopy. and changes in synaptic plasticity related molecules were assessed to or quantified to assess the effects of GABA AR modulators on synapses. This again, I think, is about right. How do I make this like, how do I like exclusively do it? Is that a thing? Do I just have to capture second window? Okay, what if I just did this? This is what they pay me for. And by that I mean, they don't pay me anything for this. Oh, I locked the position. I did not mean to lock the position. I'm sorry, position. Okay. So this, I think, is all generally pretty good. I mean, I might prefer if you introduce Western blots early in this paper, but that's okay. It is just an abstract. Results. Treatment with CL218872. I'm doing this out of the kindness for science. That's how it works. You gotta do science for other people so they'll do science for you, and eventually we all are a happy community where we're all working for the betterment of science. Treatment with CL218872 resulted in a reduction in hemorrhage and improved neurobiological outcomes in ICH mice. Additionally, CL218872 mitigated inflammation by downregulating phospho-P65, IL-6, and TNF-A expression. Don't really refer to TNF-A anymore. TNF-alpha. We've mostly kind of moved away to just call it TNF. And if it's a rodent gene, it's a lowercase NF and a capitalized italics T. But that's okay, it's your paper. This journal's gonna have its own formatting standard. Histological analysis revealed an increase in neuronal density, preservation of cell morphology, and enhanced synaptic connectivity following CL whatever treatment. Furthermore, synaptic structure was restored, and there is an upregulation of brain-derived neurotrophic factor, growth association protein 43, postsynaptic density protein 95, and synaptophysin in ICH mice. However, treatment with MRK16 yielded the opposite result. That's fine. That's just a description of what you did, and you can't argue with that. Conclusion. The GABA-A alpha-1 selective PAM CL exerts neuroprotective and neurorestorative effects in ICH, suggesting its therapeutic potential for ICH management. I think that's a fair assessment. The keywords are the keywords. Okay. Introduction. Hi chat, how are you? I had a day. I gotta figure out if I'm going to spend $700 on supplementary insurance so a man can cut my face open at a budget. I haven't decided, but I'll work on that, and I might have my car back by as early as Thursday, which I guess is good, because like walking to work and taking Ubers back is kind of a drag. It's also a waste of money. I'd have to stream again, beg for money. Thank you for all you do in recording the streams. Your effort has not gone unnoticed. Intracerebral hemorrhage, an acute cardiovascular disorder characterized by blood extraversion resulting from the rupture of parenchymal vessels. Represents a critical subtype of stroke with severe clinical implications. You can probably get rid of critical here. I mean, it's not wrong to say clinical subtype with clinical implantations. I'm not going to ding them on that. Sometimes papers are just not written very elegantly, and we have to make room for those papers. ICH exhibits exceptionally high rates of mortality and disability, with a 30 to 40% mortality rate within 1 month of onset, while over 70 to 90% of survivors suffer permanent neurological deficits. Yeah, I think that's good. I would maybe make one yellow line because critical subtype with critical implantation or implications is slightly not needed. I just made it brown. That's fine. Let's see. The pathologic injury of ICH evolves dynamically across multiple stages. The acute phase is primarily life-threatening due to mass effect. I haven't played it, but they mean like blood mass, and a rapid rise in intracranial pressure. The secondary injury phase involves amplification of excitotoxicity, which is from the buildup of GLUT, the excitatory neurotransmitter. It has a lot of like oxidative stress in the network. Inflammatory cascades, they mentioned oxidative stress, and the chronic phase manifests as persistent neurological dysfunction and substantial psychosocial burden. To me, this all sounds right. I can't pick up anything wrong with that. This complex pathological progression underscores the urgent need for early intervention, precise therapeutic strategies, and long-term rehabilitation management. Good. I think that's fine. The hippocampus, and this is a section I made them put in because no one ever talked about why the hippocampus is important. The hippocampus, characterized by its high metabolic demand, is exquisitely vulnerable to ischemic hypoxic conditions and represents a critical target in the pathopsychology of ICH. Primary injury arises from hematoma-induced mass effect and hemodynamic compromise, leading to energetic failure and ionic dysregulation in hippocampal neurons. This seems right to me. Clinically, the extent of hippocampal damage following ICH is closely associated with deficits in memory encoding and spatial learning. Just to pull a fast one. Let's make sure these citations go where they say they go. So where does citation 6 go? Not that I don't believe them, but they did lie about one of them before. What do you... No. Let's see, ischemic stroke. What are they arguing? What did I copy? 6? Dysregulation, energetic failure, functional change. Yeah, that seems to line up. Excuse me. Deficits in memory encoding and spatial learning, 78. Impact of that and cognitive function. What are you claiming? Memory encoding and spatial learning. Let's check that out. Well, they don't have the word encoding. I mean, this talks about clinical diagnoses, and a number of them talk about memory failures. So maybe the other one is... what is it? Spatial learning? Or memory encoding? Hi, welcome to my stream. This doesn't have encoding either. Oh. I gotta do this. We don't subscribe to this, do we not? No, not Hollister. I need to know. I need to know what the journal says. You never know, and they're just gonna wall you. And you have to believe. I don't want to believe. Oh, I have to get a loan from the library. I've got to pick it up. Surely that's not the only way to do this. This is all they give. Okay, I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt and say that these two citations are relevant, because they've been doing good so far. And by good, I mean well. I'm sorry, I know English. Concurrently, extravasted... Is that how you spell that word? Yeah. Sure, that's fine. Such as hemoglobin and heme provoke intense oxidative stress and neuroinflammation within the susceptible region, initiating mitochondrial dysfunction. Wait, wouldn't this be initiates? Concurrently, extravased blood components such as hemoglobin and heme provoke intense oxidative stress and neuroinflammation within the susceptible region, initiating mitochondrial dysfunction and apoptotic signaling. No, that's wrong. I mean, I'm wrong. They're right. This is fine. I'm going to trust those citations are right. I mean, 9 and 10, oxidative stress, ferroptosis in the mitochondria. Yeah, those seem related. I'm just not going to read them right now. Reading through individual citations is a little bit above and beyond what you're expected to do as a reviewer. But I do it sometimes if it's really egregious. These primary insults are further amplified by a cascade of secondary injury mechanisms, including cerebral edema, sustained ischemia, blood-brain barrier disruption, that collectively exacerbate neuronal loss and drive progressive hippocampal atrophy. Citation shit. 11 and 12. Let's check what those are. That doesn't seem related. Information in intracerebral hemorrhage. Sure. Oh, 9-10, not 9-12. Oxidative stress, sure. Mitochondria-mediated ferroptosis. Okay. These primary insults are further amplified by a cascade of secondary injury mechanisms, including cerebral edema, sustained ischemia, and blood-brain barrier disruption that collectively exacerbate neuronal loss and drive hippocampal atrophy. 11. Inflammation, hippocampal hemorrhage. Sure. Injectable hydrogels. Unique and novel platforms for promoting extracellular matrix remodel and tissue engineering. That doesn't seem related. I don't think so. I haven't read it. You know, I believe that it's a therapy, but I don't believe that it's related to the disease state. Can we get a free PubMed? Yes, we can. What are you arguing? We're still talking about the injury cascade. Collectively exacerbate neuronal loss and drive hippocampal atrophy. Sorry, I'm zooted. I hope this is interesting, but I know it's not. Like, wait, where are these injections? No, I get that the aura around things all the time. If I have a headache, it's worse. If I'm under high stress, it happens a lot. It happened a lot when I was in the psych hospital. Everybody, every laptop, every doctor had an outline. It could be, you know, migraine with aura, but without migraine symptoms, but I don't know. Regardless, I don't think there's very much you do for it. This guy's left eye looks like a red onion. Hippocampus. I'm not sure if this paper says what they want them to say about the hippocampus. I mean, they have hippocampus ischemia. After 5 days, I guess, after 5 days, simulated that, reduced infarction volume, improved it. I've never had a seizure, though. Oh, don't review the review article. Don't cite the review article. Cite the original text. It makes it so much easier to go back. I'm not convinced this article is exactly covering what they want it to cover. So we're gonna label these, but we're gonna label these in like dirty colors. So I know to go back to that when I'm looking tomorrow. Okay. This structural degeneration underlies the persistent learning and memory deficits that characterize post Intracerebral hemorrhage disability, highlighting the urgent need for therapies targeting hippocampal protection. Great, I agree. What is your citation 8 for that? Impact of whatever on functioning. Yeah, sure, that seems good. I'm sorry if the stream's buffering. I'm sorry in general. I'm sorry for my existence. Hey, wait, why is your citation 8 below citation 12? I guess you used it before. Oh, there it is. Excitotoxicity constitutes one of the core mechanisms underlying neural injury after ICH. Mechanical compression by the hematoma and its degradation projects, e.g. heme iron ions, induce local ischemic hypoxia and inflammatory cascades, triggering release of the excitatory glutamate into the synaptic cleft. What is your citation 13? Yeah, that would count it. Superficial glutamate overactivates postsynaptic NMDA receptors and dooba-dooba-doo receptors, which are AMPA, no one calls them these. Result overactivates, resulting in a sustained calcium influx and intracellular calcium overload. Citation for that is correct. Calcium overload subsequently activates multiple cytotoxic pathways, including disruption of cytoskeletal integrity, induction of mitochondrial dysfunction, generation of reactive oxygen species, activation of apoptotic protease cascades, and an amplification of neuroinflammation, collectively forming a vicious cycle that exacerbates neuronal death by brain tissue damage. That sounds good. What's paper 15 about? I guess that's related. Therefore, targeting excitotoxicity, for example, reducing synaptic glutamate concentration or enhancing inhibitory neurotransmission signaling, represents a key strategy for mitigating secondary injury in ICH. Good. I don't think I change any of that, sans maybe that citation. Gamma aminobutyric acid, GABA, the principal inhibitory neurotransmitter in the central nervous system, plays a pivotal role in counteracting excitotoxicity. What is your citation for this? I guess, sure, I would put more of a monolistic version there, but whatever. Under physiological conditions, GABA released from GABAergic neurons binds to postsynaptic GABA receptors, mediating chloride ion influx and inducing neuronal hyperpolarization, thereby suppressing neuronal excitability. What is citation 17? That's fine, I guess. It doesn't have to be epilepsy related, it can just be a general background. But whatever, you cite your own stuff. However, in the pathological milieu of ICH, excitotoxicity leads to pervasive disruption of neuronal circuits. This disruption impacts GABAergic signaling, impairing the function of GABAergic synapses, and disturbing GABAergic synthesis, release, and reuptake. The net result is a significant attenuation of endogenous inhibitory tone. I agree, but what is your citation? Okay, fine. Gamma transmission and cerebral ischemia, that's probably close enough. As a compensatory response, the surviving GABAergic system may enhance receptor sensitivity to promote chloride influx and neuronal hyperpolarization, particularly counterbalancing glutamatergic hyperexcitability and maintaining neural network excitation-inhibition balance. I guess it's maybe in there. I don't have a great reason to doubt that citation. Consequently, pharmacologically enhancing GABAergic signaling pharmacologically enhancing GABA signaling via GABA supplementation or receptor modulation emerges as a potential therapeutic approach for attenuating excitotoxicity and protecting neurons. The GABA-A receptor, a ligand-gating chloride channel mediating fast inhibitory synaptic transmission, belonging to the cis-loop receptor superfamily, comprises 5 transmembrane subunits. Its diverse subtypes include A1 through 6, B1 through 3, gamma 1 through 3, delta, epsilon, pi, and rho, and P13, forget the name of this. Did you cite the Bible on that? Sure, that's not the one I would have cited, but that's fine. Different subunit contributions exhibit distinct tissue-specific distributions. This is what I told them to write. Primarily mediating sedation and anticonvulsion effects. A2 and 3 are in the limbic system and mediate anxiety behaviors. A5 are highly specific to hippocampal CA1 and CA3 regions and associate with learning and memory. And rho, subunits predominantly localized to extrasynaptic sites mediating tonic inhibition. Sure, I believe that's there. Endogenous GABA binds at the alpha and the beta, that's correct now, subunit interface, triggering conformational changes that open the chloride channel, inducing rapid neuronal hyperpolarization and suppressing neuronal firing. Following ICH, hematoma, compression, ischemia, and inflammation not only cause glutamatergic hyperexcitation, but also frequently impair the GABAergic system. I guess more explanation on this could be nice, but it is true as it is. By facilitating chloride ion influx, GABA-A receptors effectively counteract glutamate-induced depolarization and calcium influx, representing a crucial endogenous compensatory mechanism against excitotoxicity. Studies have shown that hippocampal neurons predominantly express alpha-1, alpha-2, alpha-3, alpha-5, and sigma subunits of GABA-A receptors. You might want to mention alpha-4 just because they are expressed. However, they're not benzodiazepine sensitive. Make a note here. I mean, alpha-4 containing GABA-A receptors are mostly diazepam insensitive, and you don't really consider them to be kind of playing a role, a modulatory role. But at the same time, you know, they are there. If you're going to say they prominently express these subunits, well, there's also this one. Among these, the alpha-5 plays a role in phasic signaling, whereas the A5's tonic inhibition. What did you cite for that? Did you cite... Okay, literally nobody I know. But that's fine. Oh, you can go and cite the stuff you want to cite. I won't be mad. Therefore, targeted modulation of the alpha-1 and the alpha-5 subunits presents a promising strategy to regulate the balance. Oops, this is not the thing I wanted. Okay. Given the central contribution of excitatory to ICH-related neurodegeneration, we adopted a pharmacological strategy designed to enhance GABA-A receptor function and restore inhibitory homeostasis. Positive allosteric modulators reinforce GABAergic inhibition by binding to allosteric sites on GABA-A receptors, augmenting GABA efficiency and potentiating chloride influx. Among these, CL218872 serves as a partial positive allosteric modulator with marked selectivity for alpha-1 containing GABA A receptors. It engages the classical benzodiazepine site at an alpha-1 and gamma interface. I might have played Ghouls and Goblins once. Moderately enhancing GABA-gated currents and preferentially dampening hyperexcitable neuronal activity. CL218872 demonstrates high binding affinity for alpha-1 beta gamma 2 receptors, with substantially weaker interactions at alpha-2, alpha-3, alpha-5, and alpha-6 containing subtypes. Sure. This distinct subunit selectivity underlies its predominant alpha-1 mediated sedative and anticonvulsive actions with minimal actions. This is like poorly written. You've already said the same thing, but I'm not going to get on them. I'm just probably going to let this paper go through because I've done all I can, and if it hasn't washed out by now, I don't want to waste their time. In contrast, MRK16 is a highly selective negative allosteric modulator for alpha-5 containing GABA A receptors. It binds with subnanomolar affinity at alpha-1, 2, 3, and 5 subunits, yet exhibits functionally restricted inverse agonisms at alpha-5 containing receptors, effectively attenuating GABAergic tone at synaptic and extrasynaptic sites. The distinct pharmacological profile confers procognitive benefits, including enhanced memory performance and consolidation of hippocampal long-term potentiation, showing negligible activity at alpha-4 and alpha-6 containing subtypes, further underscoring its functional selectivity. In summary, this study utilizes CL218872 and MRK16 as selective pharmacological tools to investigate the role of the GABA A receptor subtype modulation in mitigating post-ischemic or intracerebral hemorrhage excitotoxicity. We aim to elucidate how targeted GABA A receptor interventions alleviate neuronal injuries and promote functional recovery, thus establishing a preclinical foundation for subtype-based precision neuroprotection. Okay, I think that's more or less fine, truthfully. A total of 40 adult C57BL6J mice aged 6 to 8 weeks and weighing 20 to 25 grams were sourced from SPF biotechnology company. The animals are maintained in SPF-free thing, 12-hour light dark cycle, ad libitum, food, water, sure. 40 adult male mice are randomly allocated into 4 groups of 10, sham, ICH with this PAM, and ICH with this NAM. The ICH model was induced according to a well-established protocol. Let me double-check that's cited. 33, 34. Yeah, okay. Briefly, mice in the ICH group were anesthetized via an IP injection of pentabarb using a 1% solution. Experimental ICH was induced into basal ganglia by stereotactically directed injection of type 4 collagenase. The position of the basal ganglia was 2 mm to the right of the midline, 0.8 mm anterior to bregma, and 3.5 mm ventral to the cortical surface. Microsampler was injected for more than 5 minutes, and the needles left for another 5 minutes. Bone wax was used to seal the burrs, close the wound. Sham mice were injected with 50 mL. Okay, so this is the same volume now. 0.9 sterosaline in the same way. Mice are maintained this by a heating lamp. In the control group, mice in the control group were untreated. Mice in the sham group went through the same procedure with sterile physiological saline instead of type 4 collagenase. Pharmacological intervention commenced 24 hours postoperatively. Mice in the sham and ICH groups got 200 microliters of 1% DMSO and saline daily via gavage. Mice in the ICH 208872 got that dissolved from 1% daily in gavage. Mice in this got 5 mg per kg and 1% DMSO daily via gavage. It's performed once daily for 70 days. Neurological deficit score is evaluated in a blinded fashion at days 1, 3, and 7. All behavioral assessments were performed by investigators unaware of experimental groups, assessment or assignments under standardized conditions. The evaluation comprised 7 distinct tests. General motor function was assessed through observation of body symmetry, spontaneous gait and circling behavior, and limb coordination and strength. Forelimb symmetry, tail suspension, motor coordination, circling behavior, which I think they said already, but maybe they didn't because I'm stupid. Sensory function was measured by Vibrissae evoked response, don't know what that is, following light mechanical stimulation. Each parameter was scored in a 0 to 4 point scale, yielding a max of 28 points. Okay, I believe them there. ELISA. Brain tissues were used to detect the expression of TNF6, or IL-6, TNF-A, excuse me. Wait, what? Oh, the instructions of the kit. Okay, that's fine. That's protein detection. Excuse me. H&E standing. Sorry. Ambien makes you burp. For some reason. Usually not bad if you have water around, but I don't. Sorry. Maybe that's a hiccup. Oh no. Hang on, I have to hold my breath. Sorry. A terrible sound. On the 7th day of the pharmacological invention, brain tissue is taken for pathological, dehydrated, gradient ethanol, cleaned, and xylazine. Paraffin section, stand with H&E, 3 random fields were captured. Good, whatever. Sorry. Okay, maybe back to holding my breath. Ah, damn it. God damn it. Sorry. I think I looked up these antibodies before and they were fine. Sorry. Oh, sorry. Sorry. My life is one of pain. All my tricks haven't worked. Normally breathing in really slowly helps quell the spasm, but that wasn't working. It would be a funny way to have to turn the stream off. But it might happen. I'm not sure. I think the paper has at least been more or less adjusted. To my satisfaction, but I'll read through the rest of it tomorrow. It's not due until Friday, and I have all of Thursday. Bye, I guess. Thanks for hanging out. Sorry, my weird burping ruined the stream. Feel free to send me a message on Blue Sky. For all I know, it'll blossom into a beautiful friendship. Okay, bye. Sorry.